Hi folks, with Tacitus today, your pushback channel. Thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the evolution, or should I say the degradation of the Oxford University Debating Club in England. Now, the Oxford University debates were considered to be the pinnacle, the absolute apex of debates over the big ideas, to put forward the evidence and the maybe unique perspectives, but certainly with evidence that one may have over the big issues of the time. And some very big issues have been debated there. And you can look at, I didn't realize it goes back to like the 1920s. There are audio of some of the debates from going back to that time. And we're talking, people here of great intellect. Clearly, the best of the brightest of the brightest of the best were at the university. They were pretty much all straight white males, and there's you can appreciate instantly just the logic they apply, the precision, the excellence of their intellect as they put forward their ideas in the debates, or certainly the ones I've listened to at least. So so I was slightly awestruck. I'm not as bright as those guys, so nowhere near it. So I was somewhat awestruck by this, but impressed nonetheless at just how bright these people are. We're talking, the people with an IQ of 125 are at the bottom end of this scale here. These are bright, capable people. Many I would think qualify as heading towards the genius end of the scale. Anyway, they were debating there, and there was the good manners. People would listen carefully to debates. There was no catcalling, or not that I heard. There was very well mannered, well structured, and if you like, the moderators would be very even handed. Now, each side typically would get a question, devil's advocate type question, and often the same person at the university would come up and ask a question of the debater, and the debater would give way, let the question be asked, and then would answer it, and then go on with their dissertation. So that was how it was. That's of course all changed. Firstly, today there's an absolute fixation these educational bodies have. We have to have a black lesbian. We have to have a transgender person as the moderator or the president of the debating club. Now the majority of the people there are a minority are straight white males, or just white people. Generally, or white men generally, the majority now are, your black lesbians, the this, that, and anyone who's brown and so on. People are clearly not there on any sort of merit, quite clearly. So that the tone has dropped, that whereas the best and the brightest were once going to Oxford, now the dumbest and the most fucked up and the most ideologically predisposed are going there. So you can imagine the tone and the standard has gone through the floor. Maybe it's too much to hope for maintaining such a high standard as that, but the quicker we return to it, the better we will all be and society will be. Equality for absolute low IQ morons is not a benefit to society. It is not, and never ever will be. So looking at the debates today, the sort of people that are invited to debate are the ones that say that white people are all fascist, Nazi, slavers, and they deserve to be taken out the back and shot, and that's unacceptable. But there's no quality control. The person can make the wildest, most ridiculous assertions and not be held to account, not be held to justify it. So it's a very ideological one way in these universities today, at least in these university debates. Now, some people like on the right have been invited, Charlie Kirk and James Lindsay, that British historian and commentator Rafe Hadel-Mankoo, who gave quite a good dissertation, I thought, not that long ago at the university, at the Oxford University debate. But he was constantly being interrupted, catcalled, and interjections, people mumbling, audibly mumbling And no matter what facts that he put on the table, that they were coming back at him with ideological positions. Well, sure, okay, maybe black people are more prone to crime, but it's because of slavery that white people did, because of you Nazis are to blame. And you can imagine what the education institution is churning out. And when you get people with such a low IQ, then they're prepared to accept things that higher IQ people wouldn't, or the higher IQ people would question. For example, some of the things that I even years ago when I was a late teenager, young man, something, hold on a minute, that just doesn't add up. That doesn't fit. If this was the case, if this was really true, then so-and-so would be the outcome, not what they're saying. So, but it takes a certain IQ, not skepticism necessarily, although that can help, but a certain IQ to be able to interpret information and go, no, that's not right. And to be able to see that people who are telling you these things are themselves predisposed to some sort of a radical view, which then would quite reasonably cause you to question what they say as also being a radicalized one-eyed perspective. So what I was shocked by was the decline in not only the people that are invited to comment, but the activism of the students, which is blatant and brazen, by the way, the low IQ of the students, which is equally brazen and blatant, and also the ideological predisposition of the student body, and indeed the fixation to say straight white males have no place in the structure that we see today. If you're not a black lesbian, forget it. And this, of course, is causing a terrible degradation in the standard of education. I would argue that the debates at Oxford University are probably the best, most clearest leading indicator of just how far education has fallen in terms of standards and quality control. You're being a taskist today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.